Alright, what's up everybody? I am alive and it's good to be alive. I am here playing Vermintide today. I've been playing it for a couple days now and I just wanted to give my review, let you guys know what I think, why I do like it, why I don't like it, and why you guys may or may not like it. And just kind of let you guys know maybe what my favorite characters are and why, just in case you are interested in playing. So for those of you who don't know the plotline of this game, there isn't much one to it as far as I'm concerned from what I can tell so far. Basically giant rat men called Skaven are basically just kind of taking over the whole land, and you're part of a pretty much exterminator squad and you just gotta wipe them out. Alright, so I usually play as the Bright Wizard or the Way Watcher, just because they seem like the most interesting characters to me and the most unique. I know we've got like a dwarf here and a swordsman and then a witch hunter. To be fair, the witch hunter does seem kind of cool. He's got a rapier and dual wielding pistols. I can't get over his hat. I really don't like it. That's another thing I will say about this game. The physical customization for your characters is next to none. Aside from switching out helmets or hats, that's pretty much the only thing you can do, which isn't a bad thing. I get that that's not their focus. So I'll go ahead and play as the Bright Wizard for now. So I'll show you guys. You basically start off in this little tavern here, kind of as like your, your main menu screen, kind of. I like games with interactive menus pretty much, and that's kind of what this feels like, so that's cool. But you can see I got my character here. Looking pretty good. The graphics they're not bad. They're not like the best thing I've ever seen, but they're far from bad. They're pretty good. Also, I really like the weapons in this game. I think they all look pretty cool. Like, even if I unlock a weapon for a character that I don't really want, they look good. I'll just jump into a mission real quick. But yeah, guys, one of the things I do like about this game is how much teamwork it requires. You can't just kind of run around and do whatever you want. And if you do whatever you want away from the group, you're probably just getting lucky. This is a hard game to just run around and beast absolutely everybody. I mean, you can beast for a little bit, but your health is going to take some hard hits. So as you can see here, I'm playing as the Way Watcher. Typically her melee tends to be weaker but faster. So I've got a... oh, medical supplies, sweet, I'll need that. So I've got a dagger and sword. You can unlock a lot of cool weapons in this game. That's another thing I like about the game, is that when you get a new weapon, it doesn't just have different stats, it also has different bonuses and perks, and may or may not attack completely different. So for the Way Watcher, for example, all my melee weapons are going to be swords, so they're just going to be slashing. But the bows, I've unlocked this bow that does poison damage, so instead of puncture, it does like this kind of poison gas cloud that chokes out enemies, which I thought was pretty cool. I will say they did a pretty good job at making all of the missions feel kind of different and unique. Because let's be honest, most of this game is just getting from point A to point B while killing everything and trying not to die. But they're kind of neat. They got some cool side objectives in there depending on the mission you're on. And again, oh, snap. Wow, nailed it. I totally meant to hit that tiny little skinny pole, and I'm getting stabbed to death. So as you can see, there's a couple of enemies that aren't your typical horde AI. That one's called the Gutter Runner, and it's kind of like an assassin. It'll basically pretty much go over whoever's like singled out or the furthest away from their teammates. And then you have these guys, which he just got totally obliterated, so you probably didn't see him very much, but he's sort of a more armored rat, and you either need to use charge attacks with your melee, so everyone has a charge attack if you hold the melee button. You either need to use a charge attack on him, or have a weapon that deals like headshot damage. So if I hit him in the head, it usually damages him just fine.
It's going to explode. story is not yet finished.
But again, guys, this game requires quite a bit of teamwork. You're not going to make it very far or last very long on your own. As you can see here, if I was doing this by myself, I would get overwhelmed very quickly. The bad thing about this is that I don't really have any friends that really own this game. So, you know, I'm always just kind of forced to join a random group of people and hope that things work out. But that being said, I think that if you had friends to play this with, it would be a lot of fun. Oh wow, she's got an awesome sword. Anyways, downside to that is, you know, I don't know, maybe you don't have a lot of Xbox friends, but the game is still fun. If you wanted a game that's a little more serious and has a lot of melee combat that feels pretty fun and satisfying, and a game where you actually have to strategize with your team in ways that make sense. You know, like in Destiny, the raids, you have to work together, but it's like, okay, and then we gotta shoot this floating ball, and then we got like, yeah, but why do we do that? Like, it doesn't make sense. In this, you understand why you're doing everything. Like, oh, we need gunpowder so that, you know, the rest of the forces can hold off the Skaven and other parts of the world, so you gotta go collect gunpowder and all that other junk. I will say though that the game is repetitive in a way. It's like I said, most missions are just going from point A to point B. Oh god. Most missions are just going from point A to point B while trying to kill everybody for the most part. But at least the spawners are randomized supposedly. It has a dynamic spawner. So like as you're going through the game, I've noticed that if I replay a mission, sometimes in a place on the mission where it spawned like 20 plus enemies, I'll go through there again and it'll only spawn like 3 guys. So it becomes interesting because a place where I had to, like, you know, hold out and fight a whole bunch suddenly becomes a part of the map that, oh, I just got to pretty much like walk through at that time. So that's kind of neat and interesting. And then you'll see at the end of the mission here, you gain some XP, and depending on how much XP you get, you either level up and get a new item, or you can gain additional die. The more die you roll, better chance you have of getting some pretty good gear. So I'm not even sure what that is I just unlocked. So I got 3 die. For anyone that's wondering, that's not very common, that's pretty rare. Oh sweet, I got a new bolt staff, okay. I'm going to show you guys a little bit better the loot system and what kind of stuff you're going to be getting and how it works. So over here you have your character's inventory, obviously. So as you can see, the only physical thing you can change really, the only physical thing you can really change is your headgear. And for her, it's just kind of her, like, the cage around her head. But as far as weapons go, I would like to point out that the sword she starts with is not on fire. So then I got this sword, which is on fire, which is, I think, is pretty sweet. So if you look at your weapons here, each weapon has a normal attack and a charged attack. You'll see to the right there, categorized in damage, speed, targets, and knockback. I think 3 of those are pretty self-explanatory. Now targets seems to be how many enemies it can hit with a single swipe. And then that's a guess, complete guess, but that's what I've noticed it may be. You'll also notice that some attacks, like my charged attack, say armor penetration and burn. So that means if I hit an enemy with it, it not only burns them and sets them on fire, but it deals armor penetration, which will do extra damage against armored enemies. which is pretty helpful. I'm a huge fan of armor penetration. Which brings me to this. My staff. Her staff, this is called the bolt staff. It's my favorite staff that I've seen so far. I've seen the beam staff, whatever staff you start with, and then this one. So I've only seen 3 types. That might be all there is. I don't know. But instead of throwing fireballs kind of at a moderate pace, check this out. You just shoot these like bolts of fire, and they absolutely destroy. And what's good about it, actually the best part, is the secondary attack. You sort of charge up this spear of fire and then throw it. What's good about that attack is that it homes in on enemies. So like, let's say that guy was a Skaven and I needed to hit him. I could literally throw it like there and it would like curve so much and hit him. And sometimes it'll even pierce through one enemy and then keep on going and home into another enemy and kill it. It's really good if your teammate gets attacked by like a gutter runner, that assassin rat that jumped on me, because literally the second it jumps on him, it'll say, oh, your teammate needs help. I need only look in the general direction, toss one of these in the air, and then it kills the gutter runner with like 1 or 2 hits. It's pretty helpful. Or if there's just like, you know, a couple enemies up ahead and I don't necessarily need to risk melee combat, you know, I just want to knock him out, knock that guy out, and then we can keep going. It helps your group move along a lot faster, not having to stop to fight people so often. But anyways, guys, let's see here. So yeah, that's my staff. Just to give you guys an example of the different kinds of weapons you can unlock. This one's a beam staff. Completely changes your attack. So the primary attack is like a kind of like a fiery shotgun blast. And the secondary attack, which is pretty sweet, is just a beam of fire, which it's really good with elemental damage. Like, it sets enemies on fire pretty easily. It doesn't deal a ton of damage though. You kind of have to keep it on them for like 1, 2, 3, yeah, about 3 seconds, and they'll die, like the regular enemies. What else I don't like about the secondary attack is that you zoom in so much when using it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you zoom in quite a bit. So it makes it to where if you start getting overwhelmed and you just want to set a bunch of people on fire, you know, once you zoom in this much, when people are right in your face, it gets pretty hard to tell and hard to look around. Like, it's hard to tell what you're doing, and you can't turn very fast while using it. So then you may ask, oh, well, why wouldn't you just use the shotgun blast? Well, if you look at the bottom-ish of my screen there, you'll see a red bar, and you'll see that as I use it, that red bar filled up a little more. And you'll notice my character starts to get on fire. So if you're the wizard, you have unlimited ammo for your secondary weapon, which is your staff. It uses energy instead, which is infinite. It recharges, but if you use up too much of it at once, you blow up and die. Now, I know that sounds bad, 'cause it is, but one cool thing about it is that if you get in a really tough spot and you know your teammates are going to be able to revive you, but you're by yourself and you're probably going to die anyways, you can go ahead and overcharge your staff, which will blow you up, and it kills like absolutely everybody around you. It's like a huge attack, and then your teammates can just come over and revive you. This has actually saved my team in some cases when we're getting attacked. Like, my teammate's getting totally beat up by this giant mutant rat. I forget what they're called. They're like a Hulk version of the rats, basically. It was kind of beating on my team and then singled me out, and I just overcharged my staff, blew myself up and killed it, and then my teammates just came over and got me. Saved us a lot of trouble, saved a lot of my teammates losing unnecessary health. And also, anyways, what gets me back to the point of why I wouldn't just use this primary attack close up, it uses a lot of energy. So if you look at that bar, every time I use this attack, it fills pretty substantially. You can only fire it about like 6 times or so, and then you're just done. At which point, you know, why not just use a sword? Sweet, that bolt staff that I unlocked is exactly the same as the one I have. What I will say about the loot system is it seems kind of sluggish. The pace at which you gain new items isn't to my liking quite. I don't know. I don't want items just handed to me, but it seems like kind of a grueling process. Because some missions aren't that bad. Like I said, they have a really good variety of missions. One mission might be completed fairly quickly, but then another mission might take forever, and then you get like, you know, a white rarity, which is the lowest, you know, sword, and then you're like, alright, well, that was okay, I guess. So I think the loot system could be a little bit better or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would like it to be improved, to be honest. Maybe the more you level up, the better chances you have of gaining more rare loot. And that may be the case, and I just haven't played long enough to experience that, but I'm just letting you guys know that at first, it's pretty cool, because pretty much anything you get is going to be considered new. You're not going to have it. But then there will be a point where kind of you're like, okay, I'm unlocking white rarity stuff. And I forgot to mention, but I will say that the difficulty you play on affects the rarity of the gear that you obtain. So I'm playing on easy just to show you guys. But yeah, so there's a really good chance that I get like just common gear, like not great stuff. Oh, that was a gutter runner. Where's this gutter runner at? Oh, it's gonna go for you, isn't it? Oh. Oh! So as you can see, that homing bolt is really good. That gutter runner is down there. Oh! Can I get him maybe? No? Alright, well, we're not gonna get anywhere by sitting up here all day, you pansies. Come on.
Ammunition, fill your pouches.
Thought I saw the gutter runner. Oh, it's down there. Yes, got him. So as you can see, that homing bolt is, the range on it's pretty damn good, guys. It's my favorite weapon in the game so far. Not because it's a lazy weapon, but just because it seems the most helpful, you know? Now, should you so choose, you do have the option to cool down your staff very quickly, but if it's past, I'll go ahead and show you guys. There, I filled up my bar, and there's a little notch in my energy bar that you probably can't quite see, but if I fill it up past that, cooling down my staff actually causes me physical damage. I don't know why they did that. I guess it would be a little OP if I could just use this thing unlimitedly, especially with how fast it cools down. But yeah, so it's kind of nice too because it plays into some strategy. So you're like, oh, well, I'll just shoot, you know, like 3 shots and then I'll switch to my sword to let it cool down for a little bit. So that's why I like playing as the wizard. I find her kind of the most fun and strategic to play as. All the other characters just seem like, you know, oh yeah, they've got, you know, like a hammer or sword and then like some kind of gun, so like a crossbow, or it just doesn't really interest me. There's nothing like, I don't know, too unique about it. Now I'm not saying they're not good. Wow, really, dude? I'm not saying they're not good. I know like the dwarf, his hammer has like innate punch through damage on his has innate punch through damage on like his hammer or whatever, so his regular weapon attacks are good against armored units and all that jazz, but I don't know, I just don't find him unique and interesting. I mean, like, this chick shoots fire. Like, what isn't cool about that? And then the elf, she's got like, I really like her dual daggers because of how fast they attack. I find that if you have a strong heavy weapon, it's really bad when you get surrounded, which is like 90% of this game is just getting surrounded by enemies. I would rather be able to attack like really fast. Well, anyways, guys, I think that just about does it. I don't know if you had second thoughts. Ooh, okay, wow, that was close. Anyways, as I was saying, if you guys have any questions or things you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment down below, and I hope you liked the video. I hope it was helpful. If you were maybe thinking about buying the game but weren't sure and you wanted to see what some of the gameplay kind of looks like, this is kind of it. I absolutely hate this level. It's super confusing, so I'm going to try to actually focus on the game and figure out how to get out of here. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.